is just so terrible. I shouldn't do this. What happens is I get this urge to address something, and I don't want to go over, take the thing over there, fix that, turn on this light. I tried to post a nice little video about Canada Day. It was only about a minute and a half long. And then, I don't know, vidme wouldn't process the damn thing. I just, have you had that where just those little bubbles are going on the thumbnail, processing. It didn't work, but it might have been a blessing in disguise, because I review the video I made, and it was kind of like, I live in the best country in the world, and shame on the rest of you. I didn't say that at all. I didn't mention anyone. It was all politics, and I didn't have one picture of our beautiful prairies or our fantastic cities. Or anyway, I'm sort of glad it failed. And so I just went to Facebook. I didn't have to scroll down very far, and I had some guy I kind of know was just on and on about how terrible we are to our indigenous people, and he called the Prime Minister Injustice Trudeau. So it made me realize, you see, that I guess we're not perfect. This is not a perfect country. I'm not sure of the 196 recognized by Sporkle countries, that any country is perfect. I just think it's a pretty damn good country. I love it. I love it here. And I'd like to at least just say that. Well, happy Canada Day. One day late. Enjoy the video. Enjoy the air conditioning. You feel that? It feels nice, doesn't it? I don't know, I just wanted to tell you a story today, a thing that happened today. I wanted to tell the story. I don't know, I'll decide if it's a good story or not, and whether it goes up. Why can't we decide, Bob? Because it's not your channel, that's all. I've talked about the one, this is a person whose name I always cut right out, you know. And, you know, I could bleep and all that, so that's a lot of work. And also, I think it makes for some funny jump cutting. Jump cuts are funny. This is a story about, now she's the one that I've called the Wicked Queen, and I called her a Dementor. I called her many things. To review, she just got this terrible countenance. Is that the word? There's a grand word. I just don't know if I used it right. But this air about her, this terrible wall between her and the world. And you know, as I've said in other videos, is the one whose every reaction to everything is. She doesn't enjoy smiling. She might get caught laughing, and she might smile a bit, but then I think she runs away and hides and cries for a bit, because, you know, that hurts her face, I think. Because actually, for an older lady, her face and her complexion is just grand. And I think if she smiles too much, it'll crack right up and crumble, and she'll look something like this. She's a treat. To be very careful what I say, but she's a co-worker of some position and of some seniority, and she trained me and did a wonderful job. I have to give her credit where it's due. I always like to do that before I start trashing someone. I have a friend, he's a bit of a smoke buddy, but he's also a lovely person. Well, he's a lovely person, but sometimes he does irritate people. He does, because he's got that very big personality. One of those people that really speaks their mind and tells it like it is. You know, those people, you love those people, don't you? They tell it like, I love those people who tell it like, no, nobody really likes the people who tell it like it is, do they? We don't really like those people who tell it like it is. We like people who are very careful about what they say. He's not. He doesn't have a lot of filters. So he worked with us for a while, and he really got her riled up. Got her riled up good. I don't want to get too much detail, but even when after a little bit, I tried to get her in trouble. You know, in other words, she has good reason to really hate this guy. And I get it, but I stay out of that. I stay out of all of that stuff with my friend, the Smoke Buddy. We'll call him the Smoke Buddy. That's a good name for him, the Smoke Buddy. And we've talked to a lot of things at Smoke Break. He's another gay man, so we'll talk about the men walking by and what we want to do to them. He's the only one in the office I can do that with. And so he's been a good companion, and I've had times when I'm really upset, and he's been there for me. He's been a good man, and he's a good man to me. So he has his faults, yes. Sometimes those faults are right in your face, loud and obnoxious. But He has another side to him. I think she hates everyone but him. He's a few notches above everyone else. He had some fun news for me, so he came up around my quitting time of 4 o'clock. So that's great. That's great. We'll have a smoke break before I get in the subway and go home. And he'll tell me a little bit of his good news. And so it's leaving about the same time. Okay, so it could get interesting. Could get interesting. We're walking to the elevators. Now there's an elevator and it's open. And it's gonna close. So we're kind of moving along. We can't run. You can't sprint in the office. You'll bang into 7 people and you'll have 7 lawsuits. You can't run, but you can kind of. I'm thinking it's probably. And I, in my sly way, am thinking, is she gonna keep the door open for us? And weirdly, it looks like she is, because the door is open and stays open until both of us get in. And I noticed her doing something, pressing a button. And I wanted to know what button she was pressing. Presumably she was pressing the open button to let us in. But I looked, and she was pressing the close button. Listen, I'm not above that if I'm in a hurry and someone's rushing to the elevator and if I've already waited for the doors to close. You know what I mean? They can get the next one, can't they? Remember, I've said I can be a bit of an asshole. But what occurred to me, this didn't occur to me right away. Why was she still pressing the button when we were in the elevator? She wanted us to know that she was pressing the close button. Not only that, she was pressing it many times. She did not want to be on the same elevator, possibly with me, certainly not with the smoking buddy. We get off the elevator. Now, this is not clear to me. This part isn't crystal clear. I think even with one says, "Good night." We'd say that to Hitler if he got off, wouldn't you? I'm not comparing her to Hitler. Hitler is the poster child for the worst person in the world, so we'll pick him. It's a cheap trick to use Hitler. It's very easy, but I think even Hitler, you'd have to say good night, Hitler, even though you hope he has a terrible, terrible night, because he was an awful man. Oh, I was going to do some of this in French for fun. I was going to have an experiment. Maybe it's too late for that experiment. Allô. On a tous sorti, c'était juste moi puis mon ami le fumeur. Et bonne nuit. Je sais pas si elle a répondu. Je sais pas. Il est possible qu'elle n'a même pas répondu. Elle est aussi méchante que ça. Je ne sais pas exactement ce qui s'est passé, mais ça c'était assez pour provoquer mon ami à faire ça. Man, it all happened so fast. That was bad enough. I don't think she saw. But I bust out laughing. C'était un rire surpris. Un rire surpris de genre... Oh! Elle a peut-être entendu ça. I think I was giggling a bit all the way down in the elevator. And then this sudden bop, it was the icing on the cake. How do you end a story like that? Well, as I understand it, she went home and she got in her coffin. And she lies back in there until the morning. But the problem is now, I think she might be angry. And she might, at this very moment, be casting a spell to put in the eye of Newton, the toad of frogs, and the turnips, and other evil stuff like that. It's probably an app for it now, actually. I don't know why she has to take the subway. Why can't she just use a broom? It'd be faster, really, with the delays. Listen, my video shouldn't be about hate. It shouldn't be about hate. Pas de vidéo au sujet de la haine, juste l'amour, la joie, la compassion envers les autres. Man, so this is the part where I turn on the gushy music and say something like, I've been hard on. But she's a person like anyone else, and I'm sure she has wonderful qualities. I don't care. I think it's great to put out in the universe an unconditional kind of a love for all humanity, even people that you can't stand. I don't have to like everyone. Look, we should make these things have to be more interactive. Do you work with someone like that? Do you know someone like that? So it's almost impossible to get a smile out of them. That they don't even want to say hello in the morning, which even in my grumpiest moods I can muster that. But they don't even want to do that. Maybe you have some insight. Maybe you can throw some love in the comments, instead of all this hate. Comment, upvote if you liked it, that's kind, and certainly follow if you enjoy my style of storytelling, my sense of humor, and be good to each other, even